Top of the first here, we've got the Ravens versus the Mavericks. All right, throw down to second there from the catcher. Able to advance from first to second on that particular throw. It is top of the first here. We've got the Ravens versus the Mavericks. Here comes that 0-1 pitch, and that is going to be right on in there for strike two. A nice pitch. For those that don't know, this is the tournament here for the Fox League here in Spanish Fork. That is swung on and hit out of play for a foul ball. The batter is currently the pitcher for the Ravens. It's KK. And it is Tessa on the mound here for the Ravens. That is going to be swung on. It is a nice, easy play there for the pitcher. Sends it on over, and that is going to be out number one in the inning, though it does advance the runner from second to third on the play. So it's not going to bring up the third hitter of the Mavericks lineup. It's number 12, Marley. That's going to be roped over to second base. It's going to get out into the outfield, and that is going to bring in a run for the Mavericks, as that is an RBI single for Marley, and the score is now 1-0 here for the Mavericks over the Ravens. Definitely a nice piece of hitting there, able to find some outfield grass, just gets it past the second baseman, so it's an early lead here for the Mavericks. Brings up their cleanup hitter, takes a nice healthy cut for strike one, and a little bit of a indifference there from the catcher, just going ahead and letting the runner advance from first to second base there. That is going to be a 0-2 count here to Maddie. Maddie's the cleanup hitter for the Mavericks. Takes a nice big cut at that one, and that is actually going to be, oh, they're going to throw it on over to third just to check there. Not able to get it there in time. So the count now moves to actually 1-2 here on Maddie. I guess the previous pitch was called a ball, so it is now a 1-2 count. That one is going to be taken for ball two. That's going to even up the count. That was going to be in the dirt, and that's going to bring the count to full now on Maddie. And that was going to be taken for ball four, and that is going to be a walk there for Maddie. So now it's going to be runners on the corners here with only one out in the top of the first. So the Mavericks still have a really good opportunity here to potentially bust this one open right here at the beginning of the game. It's going to now bring up number 11, Ember, the number 5 hitter in the Mavericks lineup. That is going to be smoked foul, heading right towards the dugout. Good thing there's a fence. And the score is 1-0 here, folks. It is the Ravens against the Mavericks. The Mavericks with the early advantage here. As here comes that 0-1 pitch to Ember, and is going to sneak past the catcher, and that is going to score another run. It is now going to be 2-0 Mavericks over the Ravens. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. That is going to be laced down the line, but it is going to dribble foul. Move the count to 1-1. And it is a beautiful day out here at the ballpark in Spanish Fork. We are at the sports park, as that one is also going to be ripped foul. Definitely finding a good piece of the ball there, but just a little late on it, so sending it right down that first base line. That's going to bring the count to 1-2. Oh, that's going to be right there for another strike, and that is going to be a strikeout. So there's now 2 outs here in the inning. Ember ends up striking out, and that is now going to bring up number 9, Kirsten, for the Mavericks. Again, on the bump for the Ravens is Tessa, hoping to get out of this inning, as that one is also going to be laced down that first base line. Seems to be a popular spot here so far in this game. It's an 0-1 count here to Kirsten as Tessa gets herself ready for this pitch. It's going to be in there, and it's going to be down the third base line this time, but once again, it is going to be foul. Kirsten's digging back in there on this 0-2 count, and that is going to be bowled right straight into the ground. That's going to be ball 1. Oh, forget ball 1. It actually hits her, so she will actually be advancing over to first on the hit by pitch. So Kirsten is now on first, and that brings up Kylie, who shoots that one foul back behind the backstop. So that's going to be a 0-1 count to her. And they've got runners on first and second base here with 2 outs, so still an opportunity to score another run for the Mavericks. So that one is taken very high for ball 1, evening out the count. Going to be swung right through, but it is going to advance the runners, though, as both runners go from first to second on over to second and third on that play. But the count is now 1-2 to Kylie. Tessa just hoping for one more strike here to get herself out of this inning and hopefully get the Ravens bats up here in the bottom of the first to potentially have an answer here to this top of the first. That is going to be swung right through, and that is strike 3. They got to throw it on over to first, and it just gets past the first baseman there. And that is actually going to score both of the runs. The runners from at second and third both advance and score on that particular play. It is one of those crazy ones. It was technically a strikeout, but because it went into the ground, she's able to advance to first, and it plates both of those runs. So it is now a 4-0 game here for the Mavericks over the Ravens. And is going to bring up number 7, Brooklyn, for the Mavericks. That's going to be strike 1 to Brooklyn. Takes a nice healthy cut at that one, but not able to get it for strike 2. And there is a throw over to third, and she's going to get her out. What a great play there by the catcher to throw it on over to first base and get that final out. So they're able to get out of the inning. Unfortunately for the Ravens, they did end up giving up 4 runs. So the score is currently 4-0, heading on over to the bottom half of the first inning with the Mavericks up 4-0. All right, we're back. It is the bottom of the first inning here in this game. It is the Ravens versus the Mavericks, as that is a healthy cut there by Cassidy, the leadoff hitter for the Ravens. That's going to be an 0-1 count to her. The Mavericks have the early lead here in this game. It is 4-0, able to score 4 runs there in the top of the first. And here comes that 0-1 pitch here to Cassidy. That one's going to be taken inside for ball 1. It's going to even the count to 1-1. Ravens looking to answer back here in the bottom of the first after those 4 runs scored. They're going to need a good at bat here from Cassidy and from the rest of this top of the order to hopefully be able to start off a rally of their own here in the first. And on the mound for the Mavericks is number 12, Marley. That is going to be swung on for strike 2. Count now moving to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cassidy's the leadoff hitter for the Ravens. She will be followed by Tessa, the pitcher, Alicia, the second baseman, Michaela, the first baseman, Jade out in the outfield, Cece in right, Tiandra at third, Mariah at catcher, Alyssa at center, as that is going to be squirted right in front of the catcher. A nice play over there at first. It's going to be the first out of the inning. A nice effort there to try to get there, but a nice throw on over to get that first out. It's going to be the first out of the inning, and it'll bring up Tessa, the pitcher. That is going to be in the dirt doing a little dance to make sure it doesn't hit her, and that's going to be ball 1. Tessa hoping to help out her pitching cause here by getting on base and hopefully scoring a run to kind of cut into that deficit. So here's that pitch, and that is going to be sent right through the hole past the shortstop. And she's going to try to advance to second base, which she is able to do. So a nice stand-up double there by Tessa. And that is going to be the first hit of the game for the Ravens. And already, even though there is one out, there is at least a runner in scoring position here. So the Ravens do have a chance to cut into that lead that the Mavericks built in the top half of this inning. It's going to bring up Alicia, the second baseman for the Ravens. And again, to round out that order, we left off with the number 10 hitter Alyssa, who's in center field, and then we have Reagan at the bottom of the order playing left field, and Harley will also be hitting as well, as that one's going to be inside. It squirts past the catcher, and that's going to be a easy way to advance to third base there for Tessa. So now there is a runner on third, and 1 ball and no strikes here to Alicia. Again, that is going to be inside. Catcher is able to make sure that one doesn't get away, though. So it's going to move the count to 2-0. Again, we are in the Fox League tournament here in Spanish Fork. The Ravens are the higher seed here, as that is a nice play over there at the hot corner. She sends that over and is able to get out number 2, but not before Tessa is able to score on that play. So at the very least, it is a productive out there for the Ravens, as Alicia grounds out to third base, but it does score the run. So it is now 4-1. Mavericks over the Ravens. That one's going to be shot out into right field. A nice hit there by Michaela, the first baseman. She's going to get herself a single and potentially start a 2-out rally here for the Ravens. It's going to bring up Jade, number 16. That is going to be in the dirt, and there's going to be a throw over to second. It does not get there in time, as Michaela is able to get a stolen base on that particular throw. Nice awareness to be able to run on the low pitch there, making it so the catcher had a little bit of a harder time to throw it on over. So here's that 1-0. That's going to be fouled off. It's going to be strike 1. It's now a 1-1 count to Jade. That's going to be in the dirt, and they are going to make sure that the runner's not able to advance from second base there. A nice job there by the catcher to hold her off there. It's going to be now a 2-1 count. That's going to be ripped over towards the pitcher. They freeze him up over there at second base, but it is going to be out number 3. That's going to move us on over to the second inning with the score 4-1. The Mavericks over the Ravens. All right, and welcome back to Spanish Fork 17 is the top of the second inning here of this Fox League game against the Ravens and the Mavericks, as that is going to be grounded over to first base and not cleanly fielded. And that is going to be a leadoff hit for the Mavericks by number 7, Brooklyn, as they've got their leadoff runner here in the first on base, in the second inning here on base. Again, this game is against the Ravens and the Mavericks. The Ravens were 8-4 in the regular season. The Mavericks were 3-9. That is going to be sent on over towards second base. And the play is made over there at first base. That is going to be out number 1 in the inning. A ground out there to second base by Desi, but it does advance Brooklyn over to second base, and it brings up Emma for the Mavericks. That's going to be strike 1. And here comes that 0-1 pitch to Emma. It's going to be fouled away over towards the dugout. Emma's got herself in an early 0-2 hole here. Again, Brooklyn is over at second base for the Mavericks. The Mavericks were able to score 4 runs in the top of the first. They certainly would love to see a repeat of that here in the second, as that one is once again fouled off by Emma. The Mavericks coming into this game as the lower seed, but did get the early jump on the Ravens, as here's that pitch. Another one that's going to be sent over to second base, fielded cleanly, and sent on over for out number 2. Brooklyn does advance on the play, moving from second to third, as there are now 2 outs here in the top of the first. Definitely a cleaner inning so far by Tessa. Certainly looking a lot more confident than she did in that first inning. As it now brings up Holly for the Mavericks. She takes a nice healthy cut at that one, and it's fouled back by the backstop there for strike 1. Again, there's a runner at third here with 2 outs in the top of the second. Here comes the next pitch. He's going to back out on that one. It's going to be taken inside for ball 1. A nice even 1-1 count here for Holly. Holly obviously looking to extend the inning here if she's able to get a hit, be able to score a run, as that's going to be grounded over toward the first base line, and actually kind of over by us, actually. As that's going to move the count to 1-2. But any kind of base hit here for Holly is going to score that run from third. Brooklyn will be able to score, and that'll be able to extend the lead here for the Mavericks. Instead, it's going to be cut on through, and that is going to be out number 3. A nice inning-ending strikeout there for Tessa. Able to get out of that jam with that runner on third. That is technically her 3rd strikeout of the game. So nice job to get out of that one nice and clean, as the score is still 4-1. The Mavericks over the Ravens, heading on over to the bottom of the second inning. We're here in the bottom of the second inning here of the Ravens and Mavericks game of the Fox League tournament here. That's going to be sent on back to the backstop, and that's going to be ball 1 to CC, the right fielder for the Ravens. CC leading things off here in the bottom of the second for the Ravens. She is up against Marley, pitcher for the Mavericks, as that one is definitely in the dirt. That's going to be an early 2-0 count here for CC, working herself into a nice hitter's count. This is the first of 3 games today for the Fox League. We have this game here, as that one is going to be fouled out towards the backstop and move the count to 2-1. There's another game right after this at 6:30. It'll be the Clippers versus the Lancers. And then the evening game tonight will be the Stars versus the Spartans at 8 o'clock. That one is also going to be low. Moves the count to 3-1. Still a favorable hitter's count here for CC. Here's that 3-1 pitch. Tries to back out, but instead it is called a strike. He's able to paint the inside corner there, as CC is now facing a full count here. Ravens hoping that CC can get on any way that she can. Instead, she takes a rip at it and is able to get just enough of it. Nice little foul tip there. She's able to stay in the box and live for another pitch. Again, the score is 4-1. The Mavericks are up ahead of the Ravens. That one is going to be sent on over to second base, but unable to be fielded, as that is going to be a single for a leadoff single here in the bottom of the second inning for CC. It's going to bring up Tiandra, the third baseman for the Ravens. Now with the runner on first, hoping to just string together a couple more hits and be able to cut into the 3-run deficit that they currently have. That is going to be very much upstairs, but she does take a hack at it for strike one, but also CC was able to advance to second base on that as well, able to get a stolen base. As that one is once again also going to be cut on for strike two. Marley looking a lot better in this particular at bat than she did in the previous one. Instead of getting herself to a full count, she's worked herself into an 0-2 count. That one's going to be sent down the third base line, able to get a good piece of that one, but it is foul. But she is able to stay alive in this, so Tiandra does have a shot here to potentially do something with the runner in scoring position here. She's able to hit that one way high in the air, and it is going to be a single. Somehow able to get the bat on that particular ball. It looked like it was pretty high, but somehow still able to rope it towards first base, and she's got herself a nice single there. So now it's runners on first and second here with no outs in the bottom of the second for the Ravens. It's going to bring up Mariah, the catcher for the team. And that is also going to be sent over towards the third base line, but that one is going to be foul. It's going to now be an 0-1 count for Mariah. Marley gets her sign, digs in, and throws the pitch, and that is going to be sent out into the outfield and is going to be over the left fielder's head, and that is going to score at least one run and is going to be a stand-up double for Mariah. Nice, great piece of hitting by Mariah. A nice two-bagger that is going to score CC from second base and move Tiandra over to third base, and now it's runners on second and third for the Ravens, and they've cut the deficit to 4-2 as they've now scored another run and now are only behind by 2 in this game. Another nice piece of hitting that is going to be fair. A little bit of confusion out there in the field, but it is indeed a single. A nice piece of hitting right down that left field line, and is going to score another run for the Ravens. A good hit there by Alyssa, the center fielder. An RBI single for her. It'll move Mariah to third, and it scores Tiandra as the score is now 4-3. As the Ravens are now only down by 1 run here against the Mavericks. It's going to be in the dirt, and it is going to advance Alyssa from first base on over to second base. It is Reagan up at the plate, number 11 for the Ravens. She is playing left field today. That's also going to be in the dirt, but doesn't squirt quite enough away for the runners to think about advancing. So it's now going to be a 2-0 count to Reagan. Again, runners on second and third. This is definitely an opportunity for the Ravens to bust things open and be able to potentially take the lead here in this at-bat. It's going to be a nice swing, but she's going to swing through it. That's going to be strike one, a 2-1 count for Reagan. It's been the first real trouble here for Mavericks pitcher Marley. She had only given up 1 run in the first inning, but already in this one she's given up 2, and there aren't any outs yet. As that one's going to be hit down the first base line. First baseman is able to apply the tag, but it does score a run, as that is going to even out the game here, as both teams are now at 4-4, as that's going to be an RBI ground out there for Reagan, and that will score Mariah from third base, and it will also advance Alyssa on over to third. That one's going to be taken for ball 1 there by Harley. And that is going to be sent towards the pitcher. There's going to be a play over at first, and it's going to be thrown on over, and a nice play by Marley to get that out there, as there are now 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. Tie ball game. After 3 runs have scored so far in this inning, it's going to bring the top of the order back up for the Ravens, and it's Cassidy that's going to be digging in. So once again, there is still a runner over there at third base, and so there is still potential here for the Ravens to take the lead here in the second inning. That's going to be ripped right up the middle. A nice piece of hitting there by the leadoff hitter Cassidy, and that is going to be an RBI single, and it's going to give the Ravens their first lead of the game, as the score is now 5-4 in favor of the Ravens over the Mavericks. Alyssa scoring on that particular knock there by Cassidy. So now Cassidy is on first with 2 outs, and is going to bring up Tessa here, the second batter, and the pitcher for the Ravens. That one's in the dirt, and it's going to be a play at second, but it squirts past everybody, unfortunately, and Cassidy's going to run on home, and that is going to be a bit of a costly error there for the Mavericks, as Cassidy advances from first all the way on to home by the miscue there by the Mavericks, and that's now going to be 6-4 Ravens over the Mavericks. As you could hear, the Ravens are kind of freaking out about it. It's a pretty good play for them. So the Ravens have really rallied in this particular inning, scoring 5 runs so far. There are 2 outs and nobody on, but they've been able to pretty much bring everybody home in this particular inning. A nice offensive showing for the Ravens, and a bit of a hard inning here defensively for the Mavericks, as that one is going to be high and outside for ball 1. Here comes that 1-0 pitch. That one's going to be high and inside. And she's going to take her base on that one. That's going to be a walk there as Tessa gets on, and there once again is a runner on base for the Ravens, runner on first, and still 2 outs in the inning. Going to bring up the number 3 hitter, Alicia, the second baseman for the Ravens. That one's going to be in the dirt, and they are running on everything, as she's going to advance, and it's going to squirt away from the second baseman, and Tess is able to get on over to third base. They are going to run it in to make sure that she doesn't try to advance home. A smart play there by the second baseman. It's going to hold Tessa there at third base, but another costly throw there by the Mavericks, and it moves Tessa from first all the way over to third, definitely in scoring position here for Alicia. Alicia grounded out to third base in her first at bat, and that one's going to be ripped into left field, and is going to be just foul. Oh, Just barely. That would have been a really big hit for the Ravens. She definitely got a real good piece of that one, but unfortunately, just a bit foul. Again, the Mavericks really only just need one more out to get out of this particular inning. It's been a hard one here for them as they've let up 5 runs in this inning, and there's another runner there at third base. And so if they're not careful, they could find themselves in a 3-run hole. And that one's going to be ripped over towards first, and what a great play over there at first. And it looks like there's once again a little bit of confusion, but that definitely was the 3rd out of the inning. A nice play by the first baseman to stop the bleeding in that particular inning as we move on over to the 3rd inning with the score 6-4. The Ravens over the Mavericks as we head to the 3rd inning of this Fox League game. Welcome back to Spanish Fork 17. It is the top of the 3rd in this Fox League game here. It is the Ravens versus the Mavericks. Both teams have exchanged big innings. For the Mavericks, it was the 1st inning. For the Ravens, it was the 2nd. Mavericks scoring 4 in the 1st. The Ravens scoring 5 in their pass inning, as that is going to be dribbled over to the 3rd baseman, but unfortunately she's not able to really make a play on that one. And so it's going to be a lead-off single for the lead-off hitter Ashlyn for the Mavericks, as the top of the order is back up for the Mavericks. It's going to bring up KK. That one's going to be sent to the backstop. That will be ball 1. That one's going to be inside, and it's going to go to the backstop, and that is definitely going to advance Ashlyn from first base to second base on the pass ball. It's going to be a 2-0 count now for KK, as that one also gets away, and just a bit of craziness there as the ball gets kind of squirted away, and she's actually able to advance not only from first, but is able to actually get on home. Just kind of a bit of a crazy one there, folks, as you just saw. Just kind of a lot of miscommunication and some poor throws, and it's going to actually get her to score. That's going to be grounded over towards third. Third base was not able to field it cleanly. Shortstop gets to it, and that's going to be another single. A nice piece of hitting by KK as this inning continues to roll on here for the Mavericks. 2 hits and 1 run so far, and no outs. It's going to bring up their number 3 hitter, Marley. This looks like it's going to be a conference at the mound, and they actually are going to be discussing things over, and just kind of seeing how she's doing with her nerves. This is two quick hits here in the top of the 3rd. The score is now 6-5. The Ravens still have the lead, but the Mavericks are certainly threatening here in the 3rd inning. So definitely a good time to kind of chat with the pitcher, see how she's doing, and make sure that she's got some cool and some calm here, as there are still no outs, and the Mavericks got those 2 quick hits off of her to start the inning. So again, it's Marley that's up for the Mavericks. Marley hit a single in her first at bat. Once again, the ball is low and squirts away from the catcher, and it's going to advance the runner from first to second base. It's going to be sent up the middle. A nice play there by the second baseman, and also a nice play by the first baseman to get that particular out. They are able to also, they throw the ball over to home, but then it does squirt past the catcher. Ooh, a little bit dangerous there, trying to make sure that the runner stays at third base, and they are able to do that. So they get the ground out there to second base and get that first out of the inning, and also do a good job of making sure that the run doesn't score on that particular play. Even though she did advance to third, she at least didn't advance home. As that now brings up Maddie, the cleanup hitter for the Mavericks. She takes a bit of a cut at that particular high pitch, and that is going to be strike 1. Again, KK is over at third base. Maddie up. Here comes that 0-1 pitch. It's going to be a nice healthy cut, but she does swing right through it for strike 2. Tessa looking a lot better in this particular at bat. She's been giving up these quick hits here in the third. In this one, instead, she's got some quick strikes here. Here's that 0-2, and she gets the strikeout. And definitely a much better at bat there for the pitcher Tessa. Definitely seems like she found a nice little groove there against the Mavericks cleanup hitter, and is now 2 outs here in the top of the third. It's going to bring up Ember for the Mavericks. And Ember shoots it towards first. Second baseman corrals it in. And they are able to get out number 3. A nice play by the second baseman and by the first baseman, as they are able to limit the damage there by the Mavericks. But the score is now 6-5. So the Mavericks were able to get 1 run across and cut a little bit into that deficit as we move on over to the bottom half of the third inning. All right, we are back to the bottom of the third inning here in this game. That's going to be smoked over towards the third baseman, but it is going to be a lead-off single for the Ravens here in the bottom of the third inning. A nice piece of hitting there by Michaela. Well struck over there. A nice line drive toward that third base line, and third baseman did a good job of knocking it down and being able to make at least a throw on over to first, but not in time as Michaela gets the leadoff single here for the Ravens and gets things going in the third. That's going to be cut right on through there by Jade. It's an 0-1 count here for the outfielder there for the Ravens. So a runner on first. That one's going to be in the dirt, squirts away, and that is going to advance Michaela over to second base. So now Jade is up with a runner in scoring position, and the count is now 1-1. Again, this is a Fox League tournament game here in Spanish Fork. The winner of this game will be playing tomorrow at 6:30 on this same field here. They will be playing the winner of the Stars and Spartans game that is later tonight, as that's going to be taken high and inside for ball 2, as Jade's now worked the count to 2-1. Here comes that 2-1 pitch. Once again in the dirt, and Michaela is actually going to advance on that. Nice job on the base pass there by Michaela to advance on that particular one. Didn't score it away as much as I would have thought, but she is able to advance on it from second to third, as now Jade now has a 3-1 count and a runner on third. And that is going to be in the dirt, and that is going to be ball 4. It's going to be a walk for Jade. It's going to put runners on the corners early here for the Ravens in the bottom of the third. It's going to bring up Cece for the Ravens. She is their right fielder. She's number 6 hitter in their lineup. It's going to be in the dirt, and that's going to be a pinch runner, actually, for Jade, as they were able to advance from first to second base there. CC up there with a 1-0 count. Takes a little cut at that one, unable to make contact for strike 1. It's now 1 ball and 1 strike to CC. Marley hoping to work out of this particular jam now that there's runners on first. Runner advances from first to third, and that is going to get away from the catcher, and it's going to score another run for the Ravens, and that is going to be a walk there for Cece, who does a good job there at the plate, was patient and kind of did her job there as the bases are now loaded. The run does not score because it was a hit by pitch. Oh, and a nice cut, and that is going to be out into the outfield. A nice hit by Tiandra that is going to score a run as the bases were loaded, and that the ball is going to get away from the third baseman and is actually going to score 3 runs on that particular play. A nice hit by Tiandra that ends up being a bases clearing hit after a couple of throwing errors, but a nice hit there by Tiandra, and is going to make the score now 9-5 for the Ravens over the Mavericks after that nice bases clearing hit by Tiandra. Looks like there's going to be a conference on the mound, kind of talk things over with their pitcher Marley just to see how things are going, maybe potentially make a swap here. He's had a rough last 2 innings here. She kind of cruised through the first inning there, only giving up a run, but then these last couple of innings have been a little bit of trouble, giving up 5 in the second inning and now giving up 3 here in the third. Looks like they will be keeping her in the ball game, see if she can't work her way out of this particular jam. But definitely wanted to talk some things over with the rest of the team, kind of build everyone's confidence up and try to get them to get out of this inning, and then when they get their chance to bat here in the fourth, be able to potentially rally back. That was going to be fouled off by Mariah, catcher for the Ravens. There's still no outs here in the bottom of the third. Again, the score is 9-5 in favor of the Ravens. It's going to be sent down the third base line, but it is going to be foul. Another one that's been ripped really nicely, but just stays just a bit outside of that foul line. Going to move the count to 0-2. Marley just hoping to get this first out here in the inning. And she's able to do just that with a very nice pitch that drops nice down in the zone and gets a strikeout there. Definitely a good bounce back at bat for Marley, who has had a rough spot here in the last 2 innings, particularly in this one, giving up the first 3 runs there on that bases clearing hit by Tiandra, but able to get that first out, that first strikeout of Mariah's. That one's going to be fouled down the line. It's going to be an 0-1 count here for Alyssa. Alyssa hit a single in her first at bat, and she was able to score as well in that second inning. That one's going to be hit right towards the third baseman, who makes a great play over there at the hot corner. Great play by the third baseman, and gets out number 2 of the inning, gets Alyssa to ground out. It's going to be now Reagan up for the Ravens, the left fielder. Tiandra does move from second to third on that play. That one's going to be low and inside for ball 1 to Reagan. Mavericks pitcher Marley is now just an out away from getting out of this inning and getting the bats back up. It's going to be swung on and missed there for strike 2. My apologies. That is going to be strike 2. A very nice pitch there, though, by Marley. It's going to be a 1-2 count to Reagan. Marley looking a whole lot better since that mound visit by her coach. Definitely looks a lot more confident. Is just grooving strikes in there a lot better than she had in the previous innings. And that is going to be strike 3. She's able to get 2 strikeouts in this inning, both coming right after that mound visit by her coach seems like it did the trick, and 3 runs though score in the bottom of the third as the Ravens extend their lead from 6-5 now to 9-5 as we move on over to the 4th inning of this Fox League game here in Spanish Fork. It's a beautiful day at the ballpark here in Spanish Fork. This is a Fox League tournament game. It is the Ravens versus the Mavericks here in the 4th inning as that one is skied up, but it is foul. It's going to be an 0-1 count here to Kirsten. Kirsten is the leadoff hitter here in the 4th inning for the Mavericks. She got hit by a pitch in her first at bat and was one of the 4 runs that scored in the 1st inning for the Mavericks. That is going to be swung on and missed for strike 2. So the Mavericks are looking for any and all base runners that they can get in this particular half of the inning. They are down by 4, and so they need all the base runners that they can get, as that one's going to be taken upstairs for ball 1. Moving the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes to Kirsten. Here is that 1-2 pitch. It is going to be outside for ball 2. It's going to even up the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes to Kirsten. Again, the winner of this game will move on in the tournament and will play tomorrow night, as that one's going to be fouled off. That game will be against the winner of the Stars and Spartans, which is the later game tonight here at 8 o'clock. But that game of the winner for this one and the winner of the Star Spartans game will be tomorrow night at 6:30. That one is in the dirt. It's going to move the count to full. Again, we are in the top of the 4th here. This is the leadoff hitter for the Mavericks, and it's going to be sent straight out into center field. A great hit. A fantastic hit by Kirsten, who not only gets the first, but is able to rumble on over to second base, and it's going to be a double. That's definitely one of the better hit balls in this particular game. A nice leadoff double by Kirsten to start off the 4th inning for the Mavericks, and is going to bring up Kylie. Kylie struck out in her first at bat, but she was able to advance because it went into the dirt, and that was one of those crazy plays where actually a couple runs scored on that particular strikeout. Not something you see every day, as that one is fouled out and beyond the backstop for strike 1. That one's in the dirt. Catcher does a nice job of making sure the runner doesn't advance. It's going to even the count to 1-1. And the score is 9-5 here in the 4th inning. The Ravens have the advantage here over the Mavericks. That one's going to be cut on and missed for strike 2. A throw on over to third. A nice throw by the catcher, but not quite in time, as Kirsten is able to advance to third base on the nice stolen base attempt. Count is now 2-1 to Kylie. It's going to be ripped over to second base. It does squirt under the glove, and it is actually going to roll over towards the fence. A great hit there by Kylie. It brings in Kirsten from third base, and she is going to be heading on home. And what do you know? It's going to be an inside the park home run for Kylie, a 2-run inside the park home run, and that is definitely going to help the Mavericks cut into their deficit, as the score now moves from 9-5 to 9-7. So the Mavericks are now only 2 runs back of the Ravens here in the 4th inning. What a great hit there by Kylie, able to find not only grass, but able to find the fence on that one. That one is going to be low and in the dirt. It's going to be ball 1 to Brooklyn. Brooklyn had a single in her last at bat. She led off the 2nd inning, got over to third, but wasn't able to score, as that one is once again also in the dirt, bounces off the backstop and sent on back to the pitcher. So the count is now 2 balls and no strikes to Brooklyn. Mavericks are needing 2 runs to tie up the game here, as that is going to be low as well. Brooklyn working herself into a great hitter's count here. 3 balls and no strikes. We'll see what she does here. Normally on a 3-0 pitch, usually will take, which is exactly what she does, and she gets a walk here. A good choice there by Brooklyn just to make sure that she can get on base, as there's now a runner on first after 2 runs have scored here so far in the 4th. There are no outs so far, as we're going to have a conference at the mound. Bit of a tight situation here for the Ravens. They have given up 2 runs here in the 4th and cut their lead from 4 to 2. So just kind of talking things over with Tessa and with the rest of the players, just trying to get them psyched up and hopefully get 3 more outs to end this game for them. So the Mavericks are certainly threatening here with the runner on first and 2 runs having already scored and still having no outs here in the top half of the 4th. It's going to bring up Desi, number 13, for the Mavericks. Desi grounded out to second base in her first at bat in the 2nd inning. She was the first out of that particular inning, as that one's going to be low, but they do a good job of making sure that she doesn't advance. So it is ball 1 to Desi. Again, Brooklyn is on first base. Oh, Desi is showing bunt. Pulls it back. Instead rips it over towards second base. They are able to make the play over there at first. And that is going to be out number 1 on the inning, as Desi grounds out to the second baseman, but it does advance Brooklyn from first to second base. So now the Mavericks have a runner in scoring position with 1 out, and it's going to bring up Emma, who is number 4. She is the second to last hitter in their lineup. Emma also grounded out to second base in her first at bat, as that's going to be sent foul, kind of squirting on over towards the Ravens dugout. No balls and 1 strike to Emma. Again, the score is 9-7. The Ravens have the advantage here, as that one is also going to be sliced foul, as Emma now is in an 0-2 count here. Tessa doing a nice job of getting out in front here in this particular at bat. We'll see what she's got here on an 0-2 count. And she gets the strikeout. A great pitch there by Tessa, and that is going to be 2 outs here in the 4th inning, as the Mavericks are now 1 out away from getting kicked out of the tournament. It's going to bring up Holly. Holly's number 5. She struck out in her last at bat in the 2nd inning. She's going to take that one low and inside for ball 1. Again, the score is 9-7. The Ravens over the Mavericks. 2 outs here in the 4th. That one's going to be fouled away, out towards the backstop. That now evens the count to 1-1. The Mavericks do have a runner on second base. Brooklyn is over there at second, as that one is going to be fouled back behind the backstop. It is 1 ball and 2 strikes to Holly. Tessa now is just a strike away from getting out of the inning and giving the Ravens a win here and keeping them alive in the tournament. And that was going to be called a ball, just a little low. It's going to even the count to 2-2. In order to stay alive in this game, the Mavericks will need 2 runs. That is instead going to be swung on, and that is strike 3. That is going to be back-to-back strikeouts there for Tessa, and is going to move us on over to the 5th inning, as the score is 9-7. the Ravens over the Mavericks here in this Fox League game in Spanish Fork. On to the bottom of the fourth inning here. So that is going to be cut on and fouled. That's going to be strike two. It's to Harley, the bottom of the order here for the Ravens. And it is the bottom of the fourth inning. The Ravens up 9-7. And she's going to get rung up on that beautiful pitch. A great pitch there by Marley to get the lead at bat there out here in the fourth inning. A great strikeout by Marley of Harley. But it is going to bring up the top of the order for the Ravens as Cassidy digs back in for the Ravens. Cassidy singled in her last at bat, and it looks like she might be able to get a repeat of that, and she does. There's going to be a single there by Cassidy. And for the Ravens, they're hoping that that's the start of something good here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. And that's going to be ripped on over to short, who's not able to quite handle it, but the second baseman is able to get to it, gets the force out there at second base, and that is 2 outs now in the inning for the Ravens. So Marley making quick work of things there on the mound, getting that ground out. And that's going to be blooped up in the infield, and that's going to be caught, and sure enough, the Mavericks are going to give themselves another at-bat here. The score is 9-7. The Ravens over the Mavericks as we move on over to the fifth inning here of this Fox League tournament game here in Spanish Fork. Okay, we are here in the top of the fifth inning, and the Mavericks are down by 2 runs to the Ravens as that's going to be sent on over to short. A close play there at first base, but she is going to be safe. And there's going to be a leadoff single by Ashlyn. It's going to give the Mavericks some hope here in the top of the fifth inning. The score is 9-7. The Ravens have the advantage here, but the Mavericks are up and have an opportunity to potentially tie the game here or even take the lead, as that's going to be hit over to third, and it's going to be a wild throw to first, and it's going to send the runners and advance them from first to second, and from second on over to third. A bit of a throwing error over there at third base as KK gets the single, but then advances on the throwing error on over to second base. And Ashlyn is able to advance from first to third on the throwing error. It's going to bring up Marley for the Mavericks. Marley is their number 3 hitter, definitely one of their better hitters in the lineup. And that is going to paint the outside corner for strike one. A great pitch by Tessa to the other pitcher, Marley. That one's going to be low and inside. It's going to move the count to 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, we've got runners in scoring position on second and third for the Mavericks. The score is 9-7. The Mavericks have an opportunity here with those runners in scoring position to tie the game up here. Here's that 1-1 pitch. It's going to be low for ball 2. Couldn't ask for more exciting softball here, folks, as this could be going right down to the wire with these runners in scoring position and the Mavericks having a good chance here to tie the ball game up. But that is going to even out the count to 2-2. Marley still in a good position here, a good opportunity to kind of be the hero for the team with the runners scoring position. Just needs a hit here, and one of them, at least one of them, could score, potentially both of them, as she fouls that one down the third base line. Is able to stay alive in the at-bat. Count is still 2-2. There are no outs here in the top of the fifth. Ashlyn got a leadoff single. KK followed that up with a single of her own, and they were able to advance on a throwing error, and that is going to be a beautiful pitch by Tessa, and is going to be a strikeout. Marley going down on strikes in that particular at-bat. So there's now 1 out in the inning. It's going to bring up Maddie for the Mavericks. That one's going to be low and inside for ball one. Maddie walked in her first at bat in the first inning and was a strikeout victim in the third inning. We'll see what she does here in her third at bat. Again, she has a 1-0 count here. She goes swinging at that high heat. It's going to move the count to 1-1. Maddie's certainly one of the big run producers on this team, batting cleanup. This is exactly what a cleanup hitter is here for, to bring in those runs. We'll see what she does as she lofts that one out into the outfield. But they are unable to corral that one in, but it is foul. It was in foul territory. So able to get a nice piece of that ball, and left fielder not able to make the play, but unfortunately for Maddie, it did squirt foul. So the count is now 1-2. Runners on second and third here in the top of the fifth. That one's going to be outside. It'll even the count to 2-2. There's one out here in the top of the fifth. Tessa was able to strike out Marley, but there are runners on second and third, so the Mavericks are still threatening, as that is going to be a great pitch getting Maddie to chase, and that is strikeout number 2 of the inning. 2 outs here in the top of the fifth, as the rally potentially could be ending here for the Mavericks as Ember steps up to the plate. Ember takes a little bit of a half-hearted swing at that one, but it is called a strike anyway. An 0-1 count here to the number 5 hitter in the Mavericks order. Again, Ashlyn and KK are on base at second and third. That was going to be set down the line, but foul. As Ember is now in an 0-2 count here. And the Ravens are now 1 strike away from ending this ball game and advancing in the tournament. Again, they would be playing tomorrow night against the winner of the Stars and Spartans game. That is later tonight. They'll be playing at 6:30 tomorrow evening if they do win, as that's going to be hit right over to Tessa, and that is going to be your ball game, folks, as the Ravens are able to stop that particular rally there. The Mavericks had runners at second and third, had an opportunity to potentially tie the game, but 3 quick outs there right at the end of the game, 2 strikeouts and a ground out to Tessa, and that's going to be the ball game as the Ravens take this one by a score of 9-7 and will be advancing in the tournament here. What a great game and what a great day to be at the ballpark here in Spanish Fork.